somebody beat Megaman X and Megaman X2 together with one controller at the same time.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Like how... I mean, I guess it's X and not like Mega Man.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's awesome. They even have like a controller graphic that shows you the buttons.
That means the level design is close enough that you could actually pull that off.
Or you're just that good.
But it's one controller, right? How is he moving them both at the same time?
Because he's like, if you had an emulator, two emulators open, two instances of it, and they're connected to the same controller, it would do the same thing.
Right, but he's doing separate actions on both. You see that? So, running right and shooting. Oh, it is the same.
It's the same. It's when you get hit and stuff, it creates
wild.
delays on one of them compared to the other one, but they're all doing the same thing.
Oh, that's so.
That is
weird.
ridiculous.
It's weird.
I'll attach like a piece of the video to the video so they can see what we're talking about. This will be our intro stinger.
I guess.
Anyway, let's go back to Uncharted. Continuing on, we just escaped a inferno of a building collapsing upon itself. What else do we need to talk about?
I got some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to talk, or is it? What kind of topic is it? Is it like nerd stuff, or is it
Stuff.
because stuff? Because Avengers happened, and somebody has seen it, and somebody hasn't seen it.
Then quit acting like you're gonna lay down and die. All right?
If you didn't know, there is a Avengers Age of Ultron review on Contempt.com
Oh, is there?
that I wrote.
That was fast.
It's up and published and live and everything. Probably a couple weeks before this video will end up being online, but it's there.
So, let's dig into it then. Age of Ultron seems like a 5-star, just as good as the original flick. Is that about right?
I that's not far from the truth, man. I think you can't go into it with your expectations so hyped because you will never be satisfied. Mm-hmm. But like it's hard to outdo Avengers because nothing like that's been done before.
Sure.
And this is it doing it again.
Yeah.
But this movie was fantastic. Like there were complaints about the first. You know, after time, you look back on the first Avengers, and there are issues like Hawkeye's barely in the movie because he's a villain for 3/4 of it and stuff. Mm-hmm. Hawkeye steals this movie almost like a lot of the time. Like he's awesome.
Wow. Okay.
Every character has moments, and they're fantastic. The movie is hilarious,
Okay.
which you might not completely expect. Like, it's really funny.
Good. Is that Whedon's doing?
Probably, because he's so good at being funny and letting everyone have their moment. Mm-hmm. Like he knows how to have an ensemble like be strong.
Well, I feel like everything you're telling me about is really great from a technical standpoint. Like, every character gets their moment. Mm-hmm. They all work together very well. It doesn't feel like any one is the... Like, they could easily have said, well, Iron Man makes the most money, so he's going to have the most screen time.
And they don't really worry about that, I don't think.
That's really
Which
cool.
is great, because Iron Man definitely gets the most money.
Yeah. So, a good example of this is... I keep watching the trailers for Mad Max Fury Road.
Which looks amazing.
And
I'm pretty sure we're going to see it next weekend.
I'm not a big fan of grotesque things, and it's fairly grotesque.
Yeah.
But I keep looking at it, and I'm just like, I have never seen anything like this. Like,
I don't think I've ever actually watched the original Mad Maxes. And they never really interest me. They're dated and stuff. Like that, they don't pull me in to want to watch them.
Yeah, especially...
This movie looks so much fun. And it's what I think is really I like about it, which is amping up into Star Wars in December.
True.
You can tell it's practical. You can tell so much of it is practical and not CG and stuff.
Exactly.
And I think that, like, more than I ever imagined it being, like, I think that's really getting me to it.
For all that CG's good at, if you're a technical person, you still catch it every time.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, I keep looking for the holes. Like, it takes me out of the immersion to find all the problems with it. And, like, I keep watching the trailer, and it's really the guy jumping on a car. And I'm just like, what in the hell? How did they pull this off? And so I wanted to get your opinion, because when The Matrix came out, people were literally like, oh my god, we have never seen anything like this. And I'm kind of feeling that way with Fury Road. I'm literally like, okay, there have been racing movies, there have been Wild West movies, but wow, I have never seen anything to this scale. Like, it's that grandiose, but it's not so over the top that you don't believe it.
Yeah. What were you trying to get my opinion on?
I just, like...
I agree with
I
you.
never know if, like, a movie is going to be so profound when it first comes out. It usually, like... You usually watch it and you're like, oh my god, yes, after a long time, critical consensus has shown that this is now a new classic. But, like, this has the makings to me of something where, like, it's unprecedented. Like, I have not seen other films or TV shows or media go this big or this serious with their stunts.
It is pretty big.
And their production value. And that's what has always attracted me to, like, wow, that wasn't even very far fall.
He's done worse in cutscenes.
That's what attracts me to the Avengers, because it's so big budget, but usually big budget means that, like, you can waste a lot of money and you can, like, make excuses for why your content's not as good because people still buy it anyway.
Right.
But, like Avengers big
X-Men
budget,
or Fantastic Four.
Sure, exactly. Avengers big budget, like, they use it and it's, like, well done, and you actually care about the character. Like, we shouldn't care about these characters.
I think I'm stuck. Oh, there we go.
We shouldn't care about these characters. It's like, it's an action movie. We should literally want to see them blow up stuff more often. And yet I now know all of Tony Stark's backstory, and I care about him and Pepper Potts. You know, like, I would actually care if she died. You know, this is like cool stuff like that.
Unfortunately, she's not in Age of Ultron.
Well,
yeah. She doesn't need to be in it.
Yeah.
But she was in the first one a little bit.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
She had some appearances in the first one. But everyone else is in this one, because you've got Falcon.
Probably not Loki, though.
Nope.
Everybody got
all
upset about.
But, you know, some people just, you know... We didn't know. It was like, he wanted him in the movie, but you gotta cut stuff,
Is
man.
this the same Whedon that for years all of his stuff got shit on? Like Firefly? Is he the creator of Firefly, right?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
How did he get such a big break
Seriously?
with the Avengers?
Dude, I don't even know,
That seemed like it came
man.
out of nowhere.
Like, the thing is that Whedon's never been, like, panned. Like, he's always had good stuff. Fucking Buffy was a 7-season show. Angel was 5 seasons. Firefly, sadly, was 1 season. And then Dollhouse was 2.
Yeah.
But all of his projects are well received. They're loved for way beyond their time.
Yeah.
Like, look at Dr. Horrible. He went during the writer's strike and made Dr. Horrible for no money. Mm-hmm. And that thing is, like, nerd, like, Holy Grail. Like, it's... Like, it's a huge deal, and people have been clamoring for the second one for years.
Yeah.
And now that he's out of Marvel, that might be coming finally.
So, out of Marvel, that's news to me. What do you mean?
He's not doing Avengers 3. Avengers 2 is his last Marvel movie.
Why do you say that?
Because he's out. That's what he said.
Why?
There's actually been a lot of thought that this movie just stressed him out, really badly.
Really? Just the pressure to perform?
Yeah. And he fucking pulled it off, so I mean, just like anyone, I mean, he doubts himself and stuff all the time.
I
But
see that.
he's really, like, he basically does no wrong to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's part of it. I mean, I think he's also the kind of guy that's like, I spent my time here. I did what I wanted to do.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, game.
So
I wish I could do that.
Okay. I think he feels like he did what he needed to do and he's done.
He's pulling a Michael Jordan, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna leave while everything's good. And let someone else do the rest. And I'm not worried at all. Like, I love Whedon. I wish he was gonna stick around, but I'm not at all worried.
Well, whoever's directing the other ones have done a great job.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
And the guys that get to do Captain America are doing the next Avengers, both of them. The Infinity War movies.
I feel like it's almost like Whedon was elected president and then he didn't serve a second term. Like,
basically, yeah.
He's done such a great job and I want him to continue, but I also understand the idea that, like, okay, I've made my mark, I did what I came here to do, and anything else would feel like too much.
Mm-hmm.
I could get that, but I don't know. It's just the biggest break I've seen him get, and I know how hard it is in the film industry to like really stay on top.
Yeah,
he's on top right now. I get it. So awesome, but at the same time, like he made what was it? A Midsummer's Night's Dream or something like that a year or two ago. It was
Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado About Nothing,
which is fantastic. I have that on Blu-ray.
Great,
I love it.
but that's not a big budget.
No, he did it after
thing.
Avengers. He did it in the middle.
Yeah, so
he got his friends to come over. It's at his house, and they shot it, and then he spent some time editing and threw it online.
I just feel like
threw it out.
I just feel like, you know, for as much as money as he most likely made on Avengers and Avengers 2, he could use more money just in case. He's still a young guy. He's only in his 40s, if I understand that correctly.
Probably, maybe early 50s, but I don't even think that. I think he's 40s.
You think about Spielberg. Spielberg's been doing big budget forever.
Yeah.
You know, so he's set for life. Like, he could literally not do big budget ever again and still make as many movies as he wants, I assume. So,
sure, he can do whatever he wants.
And
he doesn't have to make any movies.
That's what I mean.
He's set.
I don't think Whedon is set yet. And I would love for him to be set. Wouldn't you?
I think he's fine.
Yeah?
I think he works because he wants to work. And and the thing about Whedon is I think he wants to go back to TV. Like I think TV is where he grew up.
Okay.
And that's where he got his start, and he likes TV. Like, he loves doing the big movie. Like, he loves comics. So I mean, he was in love. He loved doing the Avengers and doing all that and being able to bring it to people.
Yeah.
And making it as big as it is. Like, he had a big part of making Marvel what it is now. Just making it cohesive and making it all work. But I think he, as a creator, as a writer specifically, he knows there's only so much you can do in 2 hours. You know?
Okay. I can see that. I guess my concern isn't more like giving me a reason to appreciate the content in 2 hours' time.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we're on season 9 of a TV show and the characters have no development left to do. That's always scared me more.
But I mean, especially, technically we haven't really had that chance with Whedon because every show he's done does get canceled.
Right, yeah.
They don't end on their own volition.
Yeah.
But I think we're in a cool place with TV right now where you do get to end your show.
Yeah.
Hell, right now we're about to end. We're right on the end of Mad Men.
Sure. That's still 8 seasons deep, isn't it?
7, I think.
It's still, you know.
Yeah, but they did that because they wanted to. You know, they had their chance, and they're ending it on their terms. Like,
that's surprising, though.
They knew what the ending was going to be, and they've been working there for a long time.
I'm fairly certain AMC or whoever makes it would rather have that money keep coming in.
Sure, but I think they just like, I mean, Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, and they ended that.
That was a surprise. I was really surprised about that. With as much critical acclaim as that got, I guess I'm just surprised when producers have integrity. In other words, like the draw to make money. You think about like, what's the most popular comedy on TV? Big Bang Theory. That thing will go on as long as it prints money.
Yep.
There's no reason for it to exist, and yet it will continue to exist. And I guess that's just what I'm used to. And the fans, like, some of them are like, oh my god, yay, new episodes of my favorite TV show. But then some of them are also like, look, we like the characters, so don't just, like, pour them out forever. Yeah. So...
And then, I mean, we've seen the opposite of that plenty of times. Look at, granted, I love how The Office ended, and the last season did get kind of back up to form and was great. Mm-hmm. But after Steve Carell left, Michael Scott's character, the show suffered really bad. It wasn't half as good as it was. And even then, before that, in my opinion, the show really started to get weak just when Pam and Jim, like, got married and then had a baby. Like, that show was built on their relationship and them needing to get together. Yeah. So once they were together, that driving force was gone.
I can understand that.
And they tried to apply it to other people and make the show keep going, but it was never as good.
Yeah. When you really look at it critically like that, it's obvious. But when I was watching it, because I binged the whole 10 seasons or whatever, I never picked up on that. Because it was such a relief to see Pam and Jim get together.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened.
It's everything you wanted. And if they just cliffhangered me, where in other words they were like, okay, 9 seasons in, the final episode they get together, I'd be pissed because you'd never get the payoff that you wanted. But I do see it now where they tried to like kludge Dwight and the blonde together, Angela, and then like later on Chrissy or whatever her name is, and the frat guy. Like I get it.
What? Oh, Aaron and Plop. Pete. They call him Plop.
Yeah. So I do get it, but once Michael Scott left, it did seem like that would have been a great time to end the show.
Yep.
But there were redeeming qualities of the final ones.
Yeah.
Like there were still episodes where I just died.
They did good. Like right when he left and they brought Will Ferrell in, and everyone was worried that just Will Ferrell wasn't going to be able to replace Michael Scott, but then they killed him in like 3 episodes. Like that was hilarious. And then Robert California came in, who circled back. James Spader played Robert California. Yeah. He's Ultron in Avengers, and he's amazing.
Weird.
He does the voice for Ultron.
The character,
it's so good.
The character of Danny California,
Robert California was
so uncomfortable.
But it was that's what made it great. Well, I loved how he's in the big interview episode where they interview all the weird celebrities like Jim Carrey and Ray Romano and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he gets hired, and that's like that was the beginning of the season. It's like, we hired Robert California. He walked in the office, looked around, drove to Tallahassee, and became president.
I know.
He talked Jo out of her own job.
Like it's a funny premise, but like, for example, James Spader, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's in some TV show currently, like The Blacklist or something. I just look at his face and I see this pervert. I'm just like, nope, nope, I don't ever want to see you again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's so weird. But then one of my favorite episodes of the entire show is the party at his house.
Yes.
Because Jim said so many things that I've said before, where he's like, I am a party ninja. I show up, I take one photo, I get one drink, and then I leave and don't say bye to anybody. And I'm like, God, I've done that so many times.
You were there. You were there for the exact amount of time you need to be there.
I've done it so many times. Yep. It's so much fun. Like when I can relate like that, it's my favorite. So I think of Whedon leaving Avengers, and I get it. But then there's people like Hans Zimmer and J.J. Abrams who just seem to consistently put out 5-star stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Hans Zimmer's back catalog, he's a workhorse. Mm-hmm. He never stops.
Yeah.
Like for someone like him who could literally just never produce again, go on a hiatus for 20 years and then come back and everyone would be like, thank God you're back. He just never stops. He does like 5 or 6 movies a year. And it's just him. Like he's not a production company. It's just him. That's a lot of work. And especially the fact that like you think about what he's pushed out over the last few years, like the Interstellar soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, it's iconic.
How does he keep doing that?
I would say if John Williams was retired, which he's not, because he's another one who does the same way. I would say Hans Zimmer is the new John Williams, but
Hans Zimmer is still up there in age. Like,
oh yeah,
J.J. Abrams, what is he? 38, 42.
I think he's in his
there.
40s. Yeah.
Like he's still got another 20, 30 years ahead of him. Hans Zimmer. Still, he's still older. Like there is a capacity that you have as you get older, where you just cannot continue to push that stuff out as fast.
Yeah,
it can still be of great quality, but like, my God, I just don't understand how somebody like Zimmer can continue to be so diverse, so powerful every time.
Yeah,
I can't think of a dud that he's created. And when I look, I understand how creatives work. I look for formulas, and I'm not finding it. Like, the more I listen to Zimmer, I'm just like, and that's inspired, and that's amazing. I guess, if you push out 5 albums a year, that really only is, like, 1 every few months, which is a lot of time to spend on things, so you're going to do it right. But still, as a creative, like, you have dry spells. You have times where you doubt what you've made. You will not like what you create at the same time, and he just seems to do it. Like, no qualms, just work. So there's a new trailer for Star Wars since we last talked, and that was amazing.
Yeah, the new teaser.
Where do you think this episode is going? Because
episode 7?
Yeah. Do you think it's more focused on the new characters or the old? I thought the old would just be cameos. They would have a bit, they'd pass off the torch and move on. But it seems like This story is partially about them too. Lol.
Do you want me to tell you what the current thought is of what the story is?
What are you
for the
gonna
movie?
spoil the potential
Technically,
happening?
Yeah.
How would anyone know?
That's true. I mean, that's the thing. It's not technically a spoiler because nobody knows.
Yeah,
it
it's
could
just
be.
speculation. You can't spoil me with speculation.
Okay. Well, what the current standing of what the movie is going to be is Luke is missing, and the new characters, at least the girl, who's potentially Leia's daughter, but we don't know. They find Luke's lightsaber from Empire, the one that he lost in Cloud City.
Right.
So, and there's some sort of like force sensitivity involved in that. So they want to get it to him. They want to get him his lightsaber back, and he's missing. So
he's self-exiled.
They find
assumably.
they meet up with Han, and he's going to help them find Luke.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, I think it's great.
That's a good
That'd be
idea.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'll give him that. Of course, again, like what I said, Luke will be in self-exile. Like, he wouldn't just go missing. I'm sure he just went on a journey. And then they give him a lightsaber, and he's like, well, I already have one, so this one's yours now. Star Wars Episode 6! Or 8, I suppose, you know? Like, now, what I don't understand is that there's a lot of hoopla over the new character set, because I guess there was one female and one black guy. But all I see in these trailers is the female and the black guy. I think they're the leads.
There's one more too,
but I don't see him in the trailers.
He's always in the X-wing.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of the hoopla was that, like, oh, here we go, another white male hero. But I just don't see that. Like, I literally see, like, the female and the black guy is literally like, okay, these are our heroes in this show, or in this episode. Which is awesome. I just, like, I don't see where the critics were coming from when they were worried that, you know, here we go again, basically. Because this seems different. Yeah,
it seems really different. And I am, like, not to jump off episode 7, but have you heard about the other stuff, like Solo stuff? Details started coming out about the first side movie, which is going to be the year after, like next 2016's Star Wars movie. Yeah, it's called Rogue One, Rogue One. It's about the X-wing fighters, basically the rebels that steal the Death Star plans before Episode 4. That's the whole movie. It's a war movie about how they get the Death Star plans.
Well, I'm pretty sure if I understand my classical Star Wars...
It's not canon.
Yeah. If I understand it correctly, because I love these games,
yeah.
Kyle Katarn stole the plans in Dark Forces, and that's why he exists as a character, is he bridged that gap between, okay, here's how the Rebels actually got what they wanted, because he used to be a stormtrooper, basically.
Is that what the story is?
It's to that effect.
I thought that The Apprentice had to do with Death Star plans.
You mean
Force Unleashed?
Force Unleashed?
Yeah. His family emblem is the Rebels insignia.
I'm pretty sure his existence was that he... I don't think he delivered the... I haven't played the games yet. I will.
Yeah. I've only played the first one. I haven't finished the second one.
I thought his existence was that he aided the Rebels in overthrowing the Empire or something like that. Like, they already had the plans, but they needed to enact the plan or something like that. Is that
I don't know. The first,
or did they eschew that? No, they got rid of that?
Only the 6 movies are canon.
Well, I heard that the Clone Wars is also...
the shows, yeah. Like, the media.
That's sad.
Well, the media that's been made, like visual media, so the 6 movies, the Clone Wars TV show and the Clone Wars animated movie are canon.
Okay, well that's disappointing, because I remember when The Force Unleashed came out, people were like, oh my god, this is so cool that they bridged 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like, they were so excited that bridge actually happened and gave him a reason to be. So that's unfortunate that they got rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, and it was cool, but I feel like it was cooler when I heard about it and not when I played it.
Okay, I understand that. Like, but the narrative, though, that's what lasts, not the gameplay.
Yes.
So, if he had a reason to exist... I mean, like, it sucks, because, like, for The Force Unleashed 2, I feel like that was a cash-in a little bit, where they're like, okay, we're going to bring the exact same character back.
That was really weird, too, because he dies in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. We killed him, but we got to bring him back, you know?
Oh, God.
I was watching Zero Punctuation, and he had the same critique against Mortal Kombat X. He's like, okay, so all the characters that died in 9, they're back.
Yeah.
And they're back just because. That sucks. Like, if death carries no penalty, I think we can all agree that, like, it means nothing when you lose a character at that point. Which is why, like, comic books, you assholes. There's always a reason to bring a character back, so why even kill?
Because you need drama.
But it's not drama.
The easiest way to create drama is to kill someone.
If you kill Iron Man, I'm gonna literally just, like, wait until he's alive again. I'm not gonna believe you.
Oh my god. That is something I'm worried about in the cinematic universe, because Civil War is coming, which is Captain America 3. Also, news this week, actually, is that they kind of announced the main cast for Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's basically, not unexpected, but it's basically going to be Avengers 2.5. Because you haven't seen Avengers yet.
I've read the intro, which is Robert Downey Jr. Reboots a peacekeeping initiative. I understand.
That's a really weird intro too. That's not really like.
I understand.
It is, but it's not.
The loose canon of what Civil War is. But there people die like crazy in Civil War.
What you just said is like the that's the tagline for like Ultron.
Right. Yeah.
Not Civil War.
Right, but I know many heroes die in Civil War. It was the end of the current comic generation before they rebooted it, to my understanding. That's how they wrapped up a lot of storylines.
I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm not fluent on it. But basically, the whole point of Civil War is that there's this big accident that happens where these younger heroes or a villain blows up like a school. And there's a lot of casualties.
Yeah.
So that turns into this big, like, we don't know who these power people are, and we need to know who they are. So we're gonna start a registry, and we're gonna keep track of them, right? So what that ends up doing is, because you have all these superheroes that, they didn't blow up the school.
Yeah.
But you have all these superheroes that have secret identities to protect themselves and their families. Like Spiderman's a big one. Who people don't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and that's a big aspect of his character and stuff. So, and that plays into Civil War. So what happens is Captain America, he is anti-registration. He's trying to support all the heroes. Like everyone knows who Captain America is. He has no real stake in it, which is very Captain America-like.
Yeah. Because
Steve Rogers is Captain America. It's not a secret, but. Tony is on the other side where he's like, I'm with the government, we need to register these people and make them liable for their actions and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what Civil War is. It's Tony Stark versus Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd heard that.
And that is what the movie's going to be. So the culmination of Civil War, which
he can't really just fall 20 feet. But he can survive a grenade blast.
Yep. So the culmination of Civil War is the death of Captain America.
Really?
They win, like anti-reg, like they don't do registry and stuff.
Right.
But coming off the steps of like the courthouse or whatever it is, he gets assassinated.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he gets shot and he dies. So that's a big deal. And, assuming that the movie is going to at least partially go that way, they should kill Captain America at the end of the movie. So Cap 3 should be technically the last Steve Rogers Captain America movie. Not the last Captain America movie. They'll replace him with Falcon or with Bucky, with Winter Soldier.
And I'll tell you this.
And he'll be the new Captain America. But
as an outsider, none of that makes sense. Like, we imprint on a certain actor as that character. So, for example, they changed the Hulk 3 times, and I had
twice,
and I hated that. Well, 3 times.
Yeah, but the first one wasn't.
I know.
From a casual standpoint, you're right. Like they don't know that they're all separated.
And so, to me, Captain America will always be Steve Rogers, not Bucky, not all these other different Captain Americas. But I know in comic books that's not true. People change mantles. They hand off their character. I get it. but that's only because I understand comics, whereas most people don't. So you
Yeah.
say, the new Captain America isn't Captain America, it's this Captain America. Like, that's hard for me to swallow.
Yeah, the casuals are going to apply the name with the hero.
Yeah, they're going to be like, where the hell is Steve Rogers?
It's not how it works.
I get it, though.
But yeah, that's kind of what we're coming on. It's like, what are we going to do?
I will say I'm okay with it, though. Because,
yeah.
like, it would suck to not have Tony Stark as Iron Man, but the characters, from what I can hear, from what interviews I read, they don't want to be these characters forever. They really do feel like they've played them out. So I think there's going to be an Iron Man 4, right?
No.
No?
So as of now, there is no Iron Man 4.
Okay. Well, that's a breath of fresh air.
Civil War is the next Iron Man Captain America movie, really, because they're both co-starring. Like,
Yeah.
Iron Man will be in it as much as Captain America.
Right. And that's fine with me. I guess I just mean that, like, I would rather have... There's enough superheroes that I would rather have new superheroes to follow versus new versions of old superheroes.
Yes. And I do think that's mostly how it's going to go. I mean, we've got Black Panther coming, we've got Doctor Strange coming, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, jeez, did I forget one? Inhumans is going to be another movie.
Who's Suicide Squad? What house is that?
DC.
DC? Okay. I literally looked at the lineup and I was like, why do I care about these
It's
characters?
really... I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel.
Alright, well, anyway, so I imagine that whoever plays Steve Rogers, I can't remember what his name is.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. I imagine Chris Evans doesn't want to be him forever.
Yeah.
And from what I read about Scarlett Johansson, she's like, I literally don't want to do action movies anymore because they kick my ass. And, like, for a guy like Chris Evans, your body doesn't actually want to stay that built all the time.
Yeah, no.
So you're going to see him lose weight
Chris
after...
Chris Hemsworth,
after Captain
actually,
America.
he said something about recently where it's like, to get the role of Thor, like, he had to get jacked.
Yep.
Like, he worked his ass off to become Thor. After he got that role, he knew he was Thor. So in Thor 2 and in Avengers 2, he didn't work as hard to get as buff.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're not going to replace him.
That's curious. Because I guess I haven't really noticed that he looks any less jacked.
You can't really tell.
Which, I mean, like...
He still, like, works out and stuff and
Yeah.
gets good, but he worked really hard for the first one.
I just don't remember him being... I don't know. I don't remember him being, like, inhuman in Thor. Like, he was jacked, and he still seemed jacked in the other movies. Mm-hmm. I think there was a shirtless scene from behind in Thor 2, for example.
Oh, he does a shirtless scene in that movie.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so it would just surprise me if he didn't work out as hard. But, like, getting there, if you read about, and people don't know this, like, the human body doesn't want to be that big because it's too much energy, and the body knows it. So
it's inefficient.
It's inefficient, right?
You need too much fuel coming in.
You need 4,000 or 5,000 calories just to not lose the weight.
Yeah, which is way too much.
To add weight, you have to do 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking real Michael Phelps level stuff.
Wasn't Phelps like 12,000 or something?
It was something ridiculous. But that's because his cumulative training was so aggressive.
Yeah, he trained like 8 hours a day. And shit.
If he didn't do cardio, he could be jacked as all hell. But because he did so much cardio, it was just like he couldn't keep calories on.
Yeah.
And so anyway, to get ready for 300, Gerard Butler had to do 8 hours a day of working out. And at that point, like I've studied this, all you do is work out and sleep because the body needs you need to sleep to be able to gain that. And so we're talking like 8 meals a day, 8 hours at the gym, and then the rest of the time sleeping. Like he had to get big before he could even study his lines and things like that because like it's so much tearing effort on the body. So, yeah, it's exhausting. And we're going to see guys like Chris Evans and Hemsworth lose a lot of weight afterwards. Mm-hmm. They're just not going to be that big. And everybody's going to be like, oh my god, why didn't they care about their role? But, like, it's already past a point where the body doesn't want to be that big. So, we got to give these guys credit that they got that big, but they can't stay that big forever. Like, Chris Evans, I think some of the first movies he did were like American Pie and stuff like that. I'm sure he looks like a baby compared to now. Yeah, I think he was in that series of...
no, he was in not another teen movie.
Okay, I associate them all with like shitty movies that are terrible teen comedy. He's not going to be that big that long, so I'm sure he's excited not to have to work out 4 hours a day like he currently does.
But I mean, Oh god, what are they saying? I didn't read it.
Shit. Just jump. Just jump from wherever you are. Start again.
I can't jump.
What?
He won't climb.
Grenade!
He's just walking.
Shoot Sully!
Okay, I just had to look at the door. What was I saying? Oh, that's true, but they are signed up for a while. See, that's the problem, is that they need to kill Captain America in Civil War, right? To make it for the comic book fans to
Not
be fulfilled, for the movie to have the ending that it's like the comic book had, to get it to where it's supposed to be. They need to kill him, but we know he's going to be in Avengers 3 and 4. He's going to be in Infinity War.
I hadn't. Oh.
So are they going to kill him and then bring him back somehow, or
Are they going
are
to
they
shoot
just going to
him?
not kill him?
Yeah, are they going to shoot him and then he wakes up in the bed? I didn't realize that 3 and 4 were Infinity War. That makes sense. I guess they can't really get rid of him until Infinity War happens, because that really is like the ending.
They're going to have everyone in that movie.
I get it. Yeah, I get that. I mean, you think about it, right? Like, the existence of the cinematic universe is working towards Infinity War.
Yeah,
like
everything
since
the first.
And I'll be curious what they do next. I mean, Civil War is big, but like Infinity War is as big as it gets. So I did want to ask, Spider-Man was apparently in this movie. Is that correct?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't?
No, that was never the plan.
He got wrecked. I thought.
There was a lot of rumors. There was a fake video actually that went online.
Was it?
Of the end credits with him in it,
And
it was actually a really good video. I wasn't fooled by it. I was like, this is not real. But it was really clever, and I liked the video. I thought it was fun.
So that was just a hoax. Spider-Man
it
is
was.
not in Avengers 2.
No,
Okay.
the deals were not done yet.
Okay.
With enough time for that to happen.
Now, we have no hope of it being Donald Glover anymore, right?
No.
Because they're dedicated to this like teenage Peter Parker.
He will be a high schooler. The rumor is now it's going to be 4 movies, 4 Spider-Man movies, and it's 1 for each year of high school.
Listen,
he'll be in Avengers and stuff as well.
Why? What is interesting about high school Peter Parker? Isn't that what the original Spider-Man movies played?
The first one did, I guess. I think he was in college in the second one already.
Well, I know he was definitely had a scene in high school.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of? What's his name?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Toby was at least in high school in the first one.
The first movie was high school, yeah.
And so was the last 2 Spider-Mans, right? Gwen goes off to college in Spider-Man 2.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah,
tired.
they graduate.
I'm tired of Spider-Man. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I don't care. They've done it so many times.
I'm with you there, but this is Marvel's.
I don't... It'll be good, but I'm gonna like it against my own will. It's gonna be one
And
of
the
those...
thing is I think they know... What the hell?
You doofus.
They know that there are people like you that at least understand enough that they're like, I don't care anymore.
The story's been told.
But that's why they're not starting with a Spider-Man movie. He's going to be in Civil War. They're going to get you in with Peter Parker during Civil War, and then you're going to want to watch this movie. That's what's going to happen.
I know I'll like it because they're so good.
Yeah.
But it's just so frustrating to have to hear the same story. All right, like we've rebooted Spider-Man 3 times in the course of 10 years. That's enough. Like they rebooted Hulk twice, and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to watch another Hulk origin story. It was different. It was better. I understand. But that mental leap of I'm wasting 2 hours, like it makes me not want to go. At least the Donald Glover Spider-Man sounded like a totally new like take on the situation. Like we would not be in high school. We would not be doing New York City and Aunt May.
It wouldn't be
do
Peter
something
Parker.
different.
Yeah.
If I understand Spider-Man canon, like we've had the 2 girls so far. Like I heard that if Sony didn't sell off the rights, we were gonna go back to like the next Mary Jane girlfriend or whatever. Like who's the blonde?
Gwen Stacy.
Okay, right. We were gonna go back to Mary Jane, allegedly.
She was supposed to be in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Exactly. We've already done the Mary Jane storyline. Like I know it was a different studio. I know if it wasn't the same canon, but man, if as a casual fan, I'm just not. It's not interesting anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas if I understand comics correctly, there's this whole like Black Widow girl, right?
Black Cat.
Black Cat. That sounds cool. She's
They
different.
kind of introduced her in the second one too.
Did they? Weird. I didn't.
Not
Oh, I vaguely
the
remember
Felicity something. That's what I mean.
that. The point is, like, that is a different character. There's a different relationship there. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting when I get Mary Jane. You know?
Yeah. Although I don't think they did Mary Jane very well in the movie
first
either.
one?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they did Gwen Stacy really well.
The thing is, too,
I never
that
knew
Mary
that-
Jane kind of is different. What the fuck?
You got grenaded.
Mary Jane's kind of... I feel like she's different in different times. The Mary Jane that I've always been aware of is a very, like... I mean, with not being able to come up with another way to say it, she's kind of slutty. Like, as far as I know, the original sort of timeline of events for Spider-Man was Gwen Stacy is Spider-Man's girl, right? Like, Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in love. And pretty much how it happened in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where she dies, that's what happens in the comic. So, Peter is done at that point. He's like, the love of my life is dead. I'm just Spider-Man now. Like, that, I have nothing else. Peter Parker's got nothing left.
Yeah.
Right? And Mary Jane is this chick that Aunt May, like, knows and brings around. And she, for some reason, is just infatuated with Peter. And Peter could not give a shit. So, eventually that changes over time, over fucking years and stuff.
Okay.
But even if they brought her in and did it like that, and that's probably what they were going for because they had the whole Gwen Stacy storyline already in place, I would have been more interested.
I guess I never went. I mean, God, we were kids when the first trilogy came out for Spider-Man. Yeah. So I always thought Mary Jane was Spider-Man's girl.
And that is kind of what ended up having. That is kind of what ended up happening in comics over time.
But you see how, like, in that sense, they were just lovers from the beginning. Like, she was the Gwen Stacy of that trilogy. Like, they were in love, and that was it. So that's a surprise that they deviated so far from the comics.
But I mean, the thing is that there's a million Spider-Man comics.
Okay,
There's
cover!
Spectacular. There's all these different Spider. Oh my God, there's so many freaking people around here.
I just, what is the draw of Spider-Man? I guess I just don't understand. Like, as a character, Goofy annoys me, and he's a goofy character.
I like Spider-Man because he talks shit, and that's something they didn't do in the original trilogy, they did in the second one, and they did a lot better.
Yeah.
But people like Spider-Man, I think, because he is a very normal character. He's kind of an idealized version of a nerd teenager. You know, he's super nerdy. He's really intelligent. He's basically a scientist in a kid's body, but then he's able to do all these things. Have these superpowers. He's able to be snarky. He always has something to say, which, as a nerdy kid growing up and being fairly antisocial, always being able to say the right thing immediately is enticing.
Okay, I can understand that.
Not to say I'm really a Spider-Man fan. I like Spider-Man, but he was never really my favorite.
Yeah, but I can see that. I can see the idealized version thing.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so interesting. I was talking to a really good friend of mine. He's an introvert as well. And the more I study personalities, the more I realize that, like, people just, they see the world the way they do, and no one sees it the same way. And it's just fascinating how that works. And he literally asked me the other day, he's like, when I'm talking to people, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I never thought to ask that question.
And fucking, people think that all the time.
And
totally.
I couldn't believe it. And I was like, well, what do you just emote. You just naturally kind of tell your story through your body language. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what that is.
And it's crazy too, because that doesn't even have to be the case either, because it can be that can be cultural. There are specific just people that emote way more with their arms and hands and stuff, and it's just kind of taught through environment.
Well, he's more in the sense that, like,
he
doesn't want to project a cold visage.
Yes.
Like, he's got his hands in his pockets and he's very sullen. I was like, okay, so stand big, like, make yourself big, give yourself a stage to metaphorically speak on. But it's been fascinating because he really has asked me. He's like, I don't know what to say in normal situations. Like, I don't know what the right thing to say is. I don't know what the funny thing to say is. Tell me what to say. And a lot of this has to do with, like, talking to girls. And he's like, please, just, I don't know what to say to her now. Like, what is the next thing I say?
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
And I'll help him, like, be like, okay, here's something to say. Here's something funny. And, like, I never saw the world like that. Like, I always assumed that, like me, people just said shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just naturally, like, for example, when we were talking about the job situation, like, for one of our friends, I helped him set up the blogging pitch. For you, I didn't come into this conversation knowing that you could do an explainer video. It just kind of came out of my mouth, and then I was like, oh, that's exactly what he needs to do. Like, that makes sense. I thought that's how everybody's brain worked. I had no idea that, like, sometimes, for some people, it's just like, no, I don't know what's next.
And that's a hard thing, too, that different people have ability for, is just being able to put yourself in that perspective and see how they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's a whole other skill.
Dude, now that I'm learning to do it,
yeah,
I'm way more accepting of things that I thought were insane before. Like, there's a quote that said, what is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. I get it now. I understand what that's talking about. Like, people used to look at me like I was insane when I would, like, walk into a meeting and just talk. And that came so naturally to me, I never even considered it. Whereas some of the people I worked with were like, no, like, I need to sit, prepare, gather my thoughts, write down exactly what I need to say, and know when I'm supposed to speak. And it just never occurred to me that that was normal. And so it's really cool to, like, get it. You know? Well, now that you're lost, and it is at the end of the show, I feel like this is a good place to stop, because otherwise you just might stare at these floor tiles for the next hour.
We've been going pretty long for this episode, too. I think we got like 2 episodes tonight.
Probably.
We should have done like 3 or 4.
Wow.
It's whatever. We're still figuring it out and testing the waters. People should be forgiving.
Ideally.
Alright. Don't die.
What are you doing?
You asked me that. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing then.
Yeah, I think you're lost.
I'm lost. I thought I had to go to the sun thing because it zoomed in on it and it didn't. So...
Nathan Drake just face bombed.
Yep.